If you're a commercial tenant, you need to keep track of all the expenses your landlord charges you, as well as any non-CAM expenses incurred by you. This spreadsheet is for businesses that rent commercial space like warehouses and offices. It allows you to track all the CAM expenses that you pay to your landlord, as well as non-CAM expenses that you incur on your own. It also tracks payments that you make to your landlord by way of rent, CAM, and other fees. The spreadsheet tracks 34 properties, and each property has its own tab where you would record all the expenses that you have incurred and any payments you've made to your landlord. To record your expenses in any property, simply go to that tab. For example, we are here in property 1, which is 404 Vantage Point in New York. Enter the date, say March 1st. Choose the expense category. Say you are choosing CAM for landscaping. Enter the amount. Say it's $250. You can even choose the vendor if you like. Say it's going to be John's Landscaping. You can also enter any non-CAM expense. Say March 5th. And say it's non-CAM electricity. This is electricity charges that you're paying on your own. And say this time this was $800. You can choose the vendor as Con Ed. And you'll notice the total amount is now increased with the two amounts that we've entered to $8,750. And this amount also shows up in March under the expenses section. This is an automatic mini dashboard that shows you all the payments you've made to your landlord, as well as all the expenses that you've incurred. To record payments to your landlord for the month of March, go to your right and over here, let's type in the date. Say the amount due for rent is $11,000. Choose the category as rent. Enter the date you paid it. Say we paid it on the same day. And that's $11,000 that we paid. You'll see the balance due becomes 0. And say we also paid CAM of $3,000. Choose CAM. And we pay $3,000 and the balance due becomes 0, and the total amount over here is $42,000, and it also shows up in the total over here as well as up over here in March, the total amount that you've paid. All the information that you record for each of your properties in each of the tabs gets automatically summarized in the dashboard. Over here you get to see the total expenses you paid for each month, the total payments you made to your landlord. You get to see on a year-to-date basis and on a monthly basis. You also get a breakdown by category for each of your properties, by CAM and non-CAM. And you also get to see the payments you've made and a breakdown by rent, CAM, and other fees. And you have a graph showing expenses for each property on a year-to-date basis. In addition to the dashboard, which gives you a breakdown of all the expenses, we also have a monthly expenses statement. This is automatically generated, and over here you can see at a glance what you've paid in each category of expense for all of your properties on a monthly basis. Let us now go to the CAM reconciliation tab. This is automatically generated. It shows you what the budgeted CAM is for each of your properties, what are the actual CAM payments that you've already paid in, and the variance between the actual and the budget. You can enter any true-up numbers, any notes. There is also a section where you can record prior year's budgeted CAM and actual CAM, and it will calculate the difference between this year and the prior year. These buttons over here in the dashboard allow you to easily navigate throughout the spreadsheet. Let's go over to the Property Settings tab. Over here, you would enter your property codes. You would enter the property addresses for each of your properties, the landlord name, landlord address, phone number, email. You can enter all the information about your properties, such as lease start date, renewal date, and these will change color based on when the next renewal date is. Within 60 days of the date, the cell will turn yellow, and after the date is passed, the cell will turn red. For example, the lease renewal date now is set at October 31st, 2028. If I change the date to something a little closer, for example, July 7th, you'll see that the date has turned yellow because today is June 23rd and it's within 60 days that the lease renewal date is coming up. If I had changed the date to say June 6th, you'll see it's turned red because the date has already passed. So this works as an automatic tracker for all of your lease renewal dates. You can also track your rent increase dates. You can put in, say for example, your rent is going to increase in August 5th. You'll see it's turned yellow because it's going to turn yellow within 60 days of the date. And if the date is passed, the cell will turn red. So again, you get an automatic tracker to show you when your rents will next increase. You can also enter the increase percentage. And if you enter the increase percentage, the rent will automatically increase with that amount over here in this column. For example, let's say we put in 5%. You'll see the next increase amount and the total amount after the increase. You can also record any deposits that you have paid. You can enter any CAM amounts. You can also record your certificate of insurance renewal dates, and once again these will also be automatically tracked with color changes. For example, June 30 will become yellow, July 19 will be yellow, whereas something in August will stay white. The CAM amounts that you enter here will get automatically pulled into the CAM reconciliation tab. Now let's go over to the vendor settings tab. Over here you can enter information about all your vendors, the names, contact person, telephone, email, services, address, notes. And each of these vendor names becomes an automatic drop-down list in the property tabs. Now we head over to the balance due tab, and this shows you if any balance is due for any property. Say for example, in property 1, we had not yet paid the CAM amount of 3,000. This will show up over here as balance due and also in the balance due tab. Then we go to the taxes due tracker, and this is an automatic color-coded tracker of when taxes are due for each of your properties. If the date is past due, it will turn red, and if there are still days remaining, if it is less than 30, it will be yellow and will show you the number of days remaining. Over here, as you can see, this date is red. It's April 15. I'm recording this on June 23rd, so it's showing as number of days overdue as 69. Say this date is September 8th, then you'll say it stays white and the days remaining is 77. You can enter the tax amount, the tax paid, and it will automatically show you if there is any balance due. Similar to the taxes due tracker, we have an insurance due tracker which tracks insurance due for each of your properties. It changes color automatically according to the date, and you can enter the insurance amount and the insurance paid, and it shows you the balance due. Let's change the date here to August 19, and you'll see that the number of days remaining is 57. For June 30, the number of days remaining is 7, and it highlights it for you in yellow. Next, we have a maintenance schedule tracker. Here you can track maintenance for all of your properties. You have maintenance for each of the quarters as well as for the 6 months and for the whole year. There are different maintenance items listed out here which you can customize according to your own needs. You can enter the information in each of these boxes corresponding to each property. It could be a simple yes, no, or information such as the date the maintenance was carried out and any amount. There is also a maintenance requests tracker, and over here you can choose the property, the date of the request, who it was requested by, the description of the issue, the priority level. Again, this is a drop-down list. Whom the work was assigned to, the date completed, any pending work, date to be completed, and notes. Now we come to the very first tab. This is the settings tab, and this is where you can change the company name and your company address, the fiscal period if you like. You can also customize the payment and expense categories such as rent, late fees, other fees. You can also customize the expense categories. Some of these have been set up as CAM and the others as non-CAM. You can change any of these categories simply by going in and typing over them. The only thing you have to bear in mind is all the CAM expenses have to be kept as CAM and the non-CAM as non-CAM, because this is how it will get picked up in the dashboard. For example, say I wish to change this. I will simply go in and type over it, say to security, and any changes I make over here will get shown up in each of these property tabs in the categories section. As you can see, it's now non-CAM security. This spreadsheet is available both in Excel and Google Sheets, and I can also customize it for more properties if you should need them. I will be leaving a link to the spreadsheet in the description and comment section below. You can also get it at my website moneyusage.com. Do leave me your questions and comments, and I'll catch you on my next video.